Have you ever wondered why every few years an MLB team drops hundreds of millions of dollars in one offseason hoping to win the World Series, and they never do? Well, here's the shocking truth. Most of these spending sprees aren't built to win championships. They're built to sell hope. Think about it. The moment a team signs that superstar or drops $500 million on contracts, fans flood the ticket lines, jerseys fly off the shelves, and TV networks light up with excitement. It feels like the franchise is finally all in. But behind the curtain, owners know the odds of buying a World Series are slim. What they're really buying is your belief.
We're playing baseball, and that's great. So, I'm excited the fans are excited.
In this video, we're breaking down the illusion, the hidden costs, the colossal failures, and the rare times it actually worked. By the end, you'll see why MLB's biggest spending sprees are less about trophies and more about selling dreams.
To make this line is we got a very well thought through deal done to the satisfaction of all of us.
Every offseason, when a team splashes hundreds of millions on free agents, it feels like the dawn of a new era. Fans wake up to headlines about a superstar arriving in town and immediately believe the team is finally serious about winning. But here's the catch. In most cases, these all-in sprees are less about building a championship roster and more about selling excitement. Look at the San Diego Padres in 2023. They had one of the most disappointing seasons in baseball, missing the playoffs entirely. And yet, the team shattered attendance records. 3.27 million fans packed Petco Park with 59 sellouts, the most in franchise history. Why? Because they'd just gone on a spending frenzy with contracts for Xander Bogaerts, a mega extension for Manny Machado, and the lingering hype of Fernando Tatis Jr. on the field, it fell apart. In the stands, it was a gold mine. The same thing happened in Philadelphia when Bryce Harper signed in 2019. Within hours, ticket sales spiked, season packages sold out, and Harper jerseys flooded the ballpark. Fans didn't know if a title was coming. They just believed one could. And perhaps the most infamous illusion was the 2012 Miami Marlins. The team signed Jose Reyes, Mark Buehrle, and Heath Bell to massive deals, all to sell their new stadium as the start of a contender's era. For one summer, Miami buzzed with hope. By the end of the season, the roster was gutted in a fire sale. That's the power of the all-in illusion. Owners know they can't promise a championship, but they can sell fans the feeling of one being close. And in baseball, sometimes that's more valuable than wins themselves. But while fans are busy celebrating the illusion, the team accountants are worrying about something else: the staggering hidden costs behind those monster deals.
Albert Pujols is leaving St. Louis. The three-time National League Most Valuable Player has agreed to a 10-year, $254 million contract with the Los Angeles Angels. Pujols' contract, which is subject to a physical, is the second highest in baseball history and only the third to break the $200 million barrier.
For every jaw-dropping contract you see splashed across headlines, there's an invisible price tag hiding underneath. And the truth is, these hidden costs can weigh down a franchise for decades. First, there's the luxury tax, Major League Baseball's way of punishing teams that overspend. The threshold sat at $233 million in 2023, $237 million in 2024, and will climb to $241 million in 2025. Cross that line once, and you pay a 20% tax. Do it again, and the rate jumps to 30%, then 50%. And if you go more than $40 million over, your top draft pick drops back 10 spots. Go $60 million over, and you hit what fans now call the Cohen tax, named after Mets owner Steve Cohen, who shattered payroll records in 2023. It's the league's way of saying, you can spend, but you'll bleed for it. Then there are deferred payments, the trick teams use to lessen the immediate tax hit. The Dodgers pulled off the most extreme example with Shohei Ohtani's $700 million deal. On paper, it's the richest contract in sports history, but in reality, $680 million of it is deferred to the years 2034 through 2043. For competitive balance tax purposes, that brings the deal's yearly hit down to about $46 million AAV, instead of the terrifying 70 million fans imagined. Still, deferrals come with baggage. Just ask the Mets, who still cut a check to Bobby Bonilla every July 1st, $1.19 million a year until 2035. Or the Orioles, who owe Chris Davis around $42 million, stretched out through 2037, long after he stopped hitting home runs. And then there's the worst category, dead money. Big deals that blow up completely. The Angels have poured $245 million into Anthony Rendon, only to watch injuries derail his availability year after year. The Nationals handed Steven Strasburg $245 million, only for him to pitch just 31 innings after signing before announcing retirement. Even when teams try to undo their mistakes, it costs more. In 2023, the Mets had to pay $35 million just to trade Max Scherzer and another $53 million to move Justin Verlander at the deadline. They weren't just paying their players, they were paying someone else to take them. And when all those hidden costs pile up, the results can be catastrophic. Just ask the franchises who gambled big and watched it all backfire.
All looks good on paper, hard to know, what's going to happen in real life, right? So, listen, I'm looking forward to a great season. I think we're going to be really competitive.
Spending sprees are supposed to spark parades, but more often they end in regret, buyer's remorse, and empty ballparks. Some failures are so spectacular, they've become cautionary tales in baseball history. Take the 2012 Miami Marlins. With a shiny new ballpark to sell, the front office went on a $191 million shopping spree, signing Jose Reyes, Mark Buehrle, and Heath Bell to headline their new era. Fans bought in, attendance spiked, and for a brief moment, Miami felt like a contender. But the season quickly unraveled. The Marlins finished dead last in the division, and by November, ownership tore the team apart in a massive fire sale. Reyes and Buehrle were shipped to Toronto. Bell was traded, and fans were left with a sense of betrayal. The all-in year lasted one season. Then there's the Los Angeles Angels, the poster child of wasted spending. In 2011, they signed Albert Pujols to a 10-year, $240 million deal, one of the richest contracts in MLB history. They followed it with Josh Hamilton, 5 years, $125 million, and later Anthony Rendon, 7 years, $245 million. On paper, it looked like the makings of a dynasty. In reality, the Angels made just one playoff appearance during that era, in 2014, where they were swept in 3 games. By the time Pujols was released in 2021, the team was still on the hook for nearly $30 million that year. Instead of fueling contention, those contracts shackled the roster and became a symbol of paying for past glory rather than future wins. And then, the 2023 New York Mets. No team has ever spent more. A payroll north of $374 million, with a staggering $100.8 million luxury tax bill, earning the moniker the most expensive team in baseball history. With Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, Francisco Lindor, and Pete Alonso, the Mets were supposed to steamroll the National League. Instead, they collapsed to a 75-87 record. By July, Cohen pulled the plug, trading Scherzer and Verlander away, while paying more than $80 million combined to send them packing. For all that spending, Mets fans didn't get a championship run. They got a mid-season fire sale. But if spending sprees so often fail, why do teams keep trying? Because once in a while, when paired with the right roster and timing, money actually does buy rings.
$90 million is a lot of money to spend overall. And so, like I said before, I'm okay with it. And I'm willing to live with it, and we'll leave it at that.
For every Marlins, Angels, or Mets disaster, there's always the counter-argument, the rare moments where a spending spree actually delivered the dream. And these success stories are exactly why owners keep reaching for their checkbooks. The best example came in the winter of 2008 to 2009, when the New York Yankees went on a shopping binge after missing the playoffs. They added CC Sabathia, 7 years, $161 million, Mark Teixeira, 8 years, $180 million, and AJ Burnett, 5 years, $82.5 million. That trio alone costs more than some teams' entire payrolls. But here's the difference. They weren't papering over a bad team. They were reinforcing a strong core of Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and Robinson Cano. The result? The Yankees won 103 games and captured the 2009 World Series in the very first year of those contracts. This time, spending didn't just sell hope, it bought a parade. A decade later, the Los Angeles Dodgers showed how to do it the modern way. They already had the best farm system in baseball, churning out stars like Corey Seager, Walker Buehler, and Cody Bellinger. Then they swung a blockbuster for Mookie Betts and immediately locked him up with a 12-year, $365 million extension. That bold move turned a perennial contender into a champion. In the pandemic-shortened 2020 season, the Dodgers finally broke through for their first title since 1988. And unlike the Marlins, the success wasn't fleeting because the Dodgers paired spending power with long-term infrastructure. That's the rare formula. Money as the final piece, not the whole plan. When it works, it proves why the allure of the spending spree never fades. But as powerful as those stories are, they're the exception, not the norm. Which brings us back to the shocking truth behind all of this. So what's the real lesson behind baseball's billion-dollar spending sprees? It's not that money is wasted, it's that money is repurposed. Owners understand that championships are rare, unpredictable, and often depend on luck as much as payroll. But selling belief? That's guaranteed revenue. The Padres, the Mets, even the Marlins showed that hype sells out ballparks, drives merchandise, and boosts media deals even when the standings disappoint. And the Yankees and Dodgers proved that when you already have the foundation, money can tip the scales toward glory. The shocking truth is simple. Owners don't need a trophy to win. They just need you to believe one is coming. Because in baseball, belief is the most profitable product of all. And there you have it. If you enjoyed this breakdown and learned one or two things, leave us a like and subscribe to our channel. We love baseball just as much as you do. There's plenty of valuable content to come.